see, this is what happens when I do things myself. I
I
do
could have
that.
helped
Hello.
you. I could have
Hello.
done it.
I know you could have. That's okay. Hey, it's Pete Fletzer, and I'm here with my boy Lloyd, live on Thursday night doing Star Wars conversation, Star Wars news, everything Star Wars happening. We have the best guests. We have the best time on Thursday night. Your home for everything Star Wars. Normally, I'm joined by my co-host Nick Milkey, but Nick, I don't know. Nick, I think he left New Jersey. I haven't heard from him since after Podathon. I assume he made it home. I'm guessing. No, I'm kidding. I know he's made it home. He's safe. He's all right. Where's Nick? Is he safe? Is he all right? He's safe. He's all right.
I know that reference.
He's I recognize that reference. He is home in Alabama. He's got family obligation. He came to Jersey for almost a week. This family's probably like, no, you're not doing Star Wars again. Not this week, pal. But Lloyd, it's good to see you. How you been, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long week. Long
Yeah.
week. Long week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I got for you. It's a long week. No, I'm just I'm just kind of happy to be here.
I'm with you, man.
Being able to just to exist on the podcast is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Well, I mean, hey, listen, we got a really exciting guest tonight. We have Silver Ciprian or I'm sure I'm saying Cyprian. I'm saying her name wrong because you know what? I'm still recovering from Podathon a little bit, but that's okay. But she, her as Star Wars Thrifting. We're gonna get to her after the news because there were some headlines this week, Lloyd. We heard everything.
There were a lot.
There was, May the 4th happened, so of course a lot happened. So we had to be a little bit picky. So we get to 4 headlines, but we're going to be talking about everything from Lego to Skeleton Crew to the Phantom Menace and the Acolyte. We're going to hit all those news stories after our first break. But first, I got to do a little bit of the housekeeping. It just wouldn't be right if I didn't. Make sure if this is your first time with us and you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Lloyd, I don't know if you saw this, buddy, but we went over 1,000 subscribers this week.
I did.
We went flying over it. It's like 1,023 or something. So we were really excited about that.
When I looked at it online, when I first got the notification of it, because I was scrolling through and I found it and then it popped up. I did the Jonah Hill meme where I was like, I was so excited. Yeah. And it's been a long time coming. It really has.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm so excited that it's finally happened.
It finally happened. We're there. Yeah. So that's great. So, but if you're new and you're checking us out, go for it. Hit that subscribe button. A lot of you watch on Twitter, which is awesome. We love seeing that. So make sure to share this with your friends, family, strangers. Go outside your house, walk down the street and say, hey, there's a cool Star Wars show. You should go and check it out. Plus, also on the YouTube channel right now, we're taking all the videos from the from Podathon and we're putting them all up there, including there was some conversation about what Pablo Hidalgo told the good people at Full of Sith about George Lucas and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So you can catch that full interview either on the Full of Sith podcast stream, which just dropped today, or you can watch the video over on our YouTube channel. Hey, Lloyd, are you surprised that Lucas loved Kenobi or
no? No, and I'm sure we'll get into that in a bit.
We may. I mean, hey, we'll throw it out there. You can also follow us on all your social media channels. You can find us at the SSW Network. You got to put in the there, the SSW Network, or on Twitter. The best place to get us is at ATGcast. Everywhere else at the SSW Network. Head on over to the SSWnetwork.com to find links to everything, including our merch store, where you can get 15% off of merch if you use the code. Do you know the code? Do you remember the code, Lloyd? Shill15.
Shill15, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I had to look at my card for a second. I was like, I knew it had Shill in there, but I didn't remember the number.
Shill15, you get 15% off your entire order. And finally, we have a voicemail line. It's true. You can call us at 504 321-1501. That's 504-321-1501. Whenever the mood strikes, you want to leave us a voicemail about how excited you are about the Acolyte, or what you just saw on in the theaters with Phantom Menace, or you found a super find at a flea market like Silver and you have to tell somebody about it. Leave us a message, 504-321-1501. But Lloyd, I'm gonna wrap up the housekeeping so we can get to the news, and then we can bring in our guest, Silver. So we will be back with more ATG Live. Well, welcome back to ATG Live, your home for Star Wars conversation on Thursday nights live here on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ at the SSW Network. 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to all of you. Thank you so much. And you can catch highlights from shows. You can catch just the news if you want to catch us the next day. We cut this news section out. You can check those out, or you'll get the interviews. If you don't want to put up at the beginning of the show and you just want to hear us talk to great people, you can catch us usually a day or two later with that. But we prefer when you join us live because things get weird. And at the end of the show, we check your comments during the show. Lloyd, before we jump in, did you see the Phantom Menace over May the 4th weekend?
Of course. What kind of a question is that?
All right. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't need to revoke your fan card. So
I was so excited. Like, I went early. I hit up the bar at the movie theater. I was talking to the bartender about it, and she wound up giving me like the pouring handles off the beer cat. I was so excited.
I'm going to trade you for some blue milk for one of those. Let's do it.
I'm okay with it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hit the news. All right. Well, our first news story is the Phantom Menace has a bomb-bad box office. The 25th anniversary reissue of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace has made some waves. Hang on, I gotta hit that thing. Hold on. I'm going to start this one over. I don't care. It's just that kind of day. Here we go. The 25th anniversary reissue of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace has made waves, pulling it in a substantial $8.7 million from Friday to Sunday across 2,700 theaters in the United States and Canada. Compared to recent re-releases like The Phantom Menace, Endgame and Return of the Jedi and Titanic, this beat all of them. The only one that hasn't beaten Lloyd, Avatar, brought in $10.5 million in its re-release in 2022. Internationally, The Phantom Menace added $6.4 million to that haul, bringing its global total to $15.6 million, placing it back as the 44th highest grossing movie of all time. Given the success, it is possible that we'll see more Star Wars re-releases in the future. Next up could be something like celebrations for the 20th anniversary of Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith, or the 10th anniversary for Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Lloyd, not only did you get the beer handles, what was it like for you? Had you seen Phantom Menace in the theaters? I know you're a bit younger than I am. You're a younger gentleman.
So I saw it for the first time when I was 7 years old because it came out in 99.
Okay.
I just aged myself. I know.
Yep. I just did the math. Yep.
And, yeah. And I remember like everything about the movie, even before I went in there. It was the first like Star Wars that I ever truly saw in theaters.
Yeah.
And I remember I was with Cheyenne last weekend. We sat down to watch it. It was her idea, not mine. So don't at me.
Okay.
And we sat down to watch it. And I was like, I remember all of this.
Yep.
Even from back when I was 7 years old. That was 24 years ago. I was like,
yep.
I remember all of this. And I was like, there ain't no way. Like, even the first line spoken, I'm sitting there in the movie theater and I was like just reading it and I was quoting the movie. She looked over at me. She's like, are you serious?
But you know, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I was always that way with A New Hope, and then it became that way for Empire. But A New Hope, certainly, like I could, if we had 2 hours to go, I would just rattle off line by line. Did you hear that? And then go from there. But what surprised me was as I was watching The Phantom Menace, not only did I know every single line that was coming up, like my love for A New Hope, I knew which music cue was coming up. I knew,
right.
I knew that. I didn't realize that I have come to have that movie completely memorized. And I love that. And I'm surprised because, as I've said before, when I walked out of the premiere in New York City in 99, I wasn't a fan of the movie, and now it's literally one of my favorites.
See, I hadn't watched it in over 10 years. Swear to God. Even on like Disney Plus, I had never turned it on. I hadn't watched it in over 10 years. But the moment I sat down in that movie seat, I was just like, I know this movie by heart.
Is there a reason you haven't watched it, or is it just not?
As a kid, it was more of just like, I don't really care about taxation and trade routes and stuff like that in my Star Wars. Okay. Like, but then as I got older, I was like, I'm experiencing this for real and I hate it. So now I'm like, it kind of grew on me, and I just got a better appreciation for it.
And I will say, the Shmi scene when she's letting Anakin go, as now the father. At the time, I didn't have kids when I first saw it, and over the years, it was just a movie that I would just watch. I didn't put anything behind it, but watching it in the theater with an 11-year-old son, that scene hits hard, man. That hits hard for parents now. I can tell you that for sure.
See, I don't have kids, so I can't really speak to that. So when I was watching her let him go, I was just like, all right, bet. You're going to kill everybody, but let him go.
You're just letting him go.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't work.
Can I go, Mom? Can I go murder younglings in 10 years?
Give me 20 years, and,
sure.
my age won't exist anymore.
Go for it. Go for
it. So, no, that didn't really bother me.
All right. Well, let's hit our next story. Our next story is Lego and Star Wars team up again. Lucasfilm and Lego Group revealed plans for Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, a 4-episode special set to premiere on Disney Plus on September 13th. This collaboration promises a fresh take on the Star Wars universe, where an ordinary nerf herder named Sig Griebling, voiced by Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things, stumbles upon a powerful artifact and is thrown into an adventure where the lines between good and evil are blurred. Notable voice talents include such people as Tony Revolori, Bobby Moynihan, Marseille Martin, Michael Cusack, and Mark Hamill returning as Luke Skywalker. But perhaps the most exciting, Ahmed Best will reprise his role as Jar Jar Binks, but not just Jar Jar Binks. He will be the infamous fan-theorized Darth Jar Jar. This announcement coincides with the 25th anniversary of the partnership between Lego and Lucasfilm. Executive producers James Waugh and showrunner Dan Hernandez and Benji Samit expressed their excitement for the project, promising an imaginary celebration of the iconic Star Wars saga and the creative possibilities of Lego. Lloyd, when we had our guest on a couple weeks ago, who is writing or has written that amazing Star Wars Lego book, you talked a little bit about how the animated specials mean a lot to you. Are you excited?
I am. And it's mostly because I just recently started playing back through the Skywalker saga, the Lego game.
Yep.
So I'm prepared. I'm ready. And when I saw the trailer and then they had Darth Jar Jar, I was like, they're finally leaning into the nonsense.
Yes.
A little bit more heavy. Like, it wasn't that they weren't nonsensical to begin with, but like the summer vacation one, Emperor is tanning on the beach. Like they were just.
It sounds remarkably like Robot Chicken Emperor as well.
Yeah, but this, they're paying attention to what we're saying online, and I'm totally for it.
Yeah,
like they're watching and listening.
It was great to get Ahmed Best back in Mando, but he's voicing Jar Jar Binks. I mean, let's let our conspiracy theory hats or freak flags fly, I guess. Do you think we're going to get Jar Jar back? Like, it's at some point.
We all know the well, I don't know. Is his death non-canon now?
I don't know. Were these the ones in the Wendig books where he was the circus clown or whatever it was?
Yeah, juggler? He died like a homeless street performer or something. Like, he went on to like some self-imposed exile because of his thing during the Senate. Yeah. But I don't know if that's still canon. So, I mean, if it's not, cool. I hope he shows up just to kind of, Misa back. Like, I just think that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think we're gonna.
Yeah. No, I hope we get him somewhere. You look at the timeline right now. There's so much stuff happening across the timeline, and just kind of. But it would just be such a great thing to see Ahmed Best back as Jar Jar.
Really?
Yeah. Anything. Right.
Like, he deserves it.
Yeah. No. He. I think I've told this before, but I'll never forget when I went to the premiere of Phantom Menace in New York City, and nobody knew who Ahmed Best was. He was best known because he was in the I think he was in Stomp on Broadway. That's where George found him.
That's where he got his start. Yeah.
And on the red carpet, I remember, you had Glenn Close and you had all these big actors coming through, and somebody stopped Ahmed Best, and it was like right in front of me, and I'll never forget. He goes, how about that Jar Jar character though? Huh? And like, it was no. Well, and of course everybody wasn't sure about what they thought about Jar Jar at that time, but he was just, the thing that I remember is his pure childlike excitement over playing Jar Jar. So yeah,
After the end of the day, he got to be in Star Wars and we haven't, so let him
you
have
know
it.
what? This is true.
Let
This
him have the
this is
fun, honestly.
100% true. Awesome. Well, we got a couple more stories. Why don't we hit another one here? Here we go. Skeleton Crew details begin to emerge. It's been lawful quiet around Skeleton Crew, but in a recent interview with Collider at CCXP Mexico, showrunner John Watts provided some insights into the upcoming Skeleton Crew series for Disney Plus. Among the revelations, Watts hinted at a Christmas release date for the show and shared an updated synopsis describing it as a tale of a group of children who stumble upon a mysterious secret on their planet and become lost in the galaxy, embarking on a journey to find their way home. Watts emphasized that while Skeleton Crew is set in the Star Wars universe, it appeals to audiences beyond just fans of the franchise. He highlighted the use of old school filmmaking techniques such as stop motion by Phil Tippett and matte paintings reminiscent of Cloud City in The Empire Strikes Back. Tippett is known for his work on the original Star Wars trilogy and has found renewed relevance through Disney Plus series like The Mandalorian. Skeleton Crew is slated for release this holiday season on Disney Plus. What do you think of that description, Lloyd?
They had me at Phil Tippett, and I'm very happy that he's not directing it. Starship Troopers. So
I'm doing my part.
No, I'm actually kind of excited about it. I don't know how I'm going to feel about the stop motion part in 2024, right? Because there was just something charming about, like, you know, the 70s and the 80s,
yeah,
and how they did it, and it felt like it fit. In 2024, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it because it just doesn't hold the same feeling for me.
Yeah, no, look, I'm sure they'll do, you know, I don't even know. I'm sure there'll be some sort of correctiveness like they do with puppets now, like they do with Grogu and that sort of thing. But I'm just excited that they're bringing Phil back. You know, I love that they were doing that. I love that, you know, because that was part of the charm of The Mandalorian, you know, bringing back the old school model making for Razor Crest and things like that. So I'm excited to see that come back. The story, though, the story synopsis, talk to me about your thoughts on the comment about you don't have to be a Star Wars expert or Star Wars fan. It's set in that Star Wars universe, but this series will appeal to everybody. What do you think about that, and where do you think that's coming from?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I think it's time we had a show that you don't have to know every bit of detail behind every piece of backstory and stuff like that. And I'm kind of okay with it. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm looking forward to something dumbed down, but I'm also looking forward to something that I can just sit back like a Saturday morning cartoon and just not have to think about it too hard.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of what they need, right? I think that especially, you know, I was thinking about, Nick and I talk about this a lot, but I was thinking about my father's perspective on things. Like when Bo-Katan shows up, they did a great job of making it so she was an interesting character. You didn't need to know her backstory, but it was there. But I felt like as we got deeper into Mandalorian, you didn't need the working knowledge of all the ins and outs of Star Wars, but it helped. I think what Skeleton Crew will be full of is Easter eggs that we're going to pick up, and it's going to be goofy things like old action figures and droids and names and things from, you know, the Droids cartoon or something that are in there that you and I will be like, oh, they did the thing, and the average fan will just be like, wow, that was fun, that was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, like a Star Tours thing. It's like, yeah, that's neat. Yeah.
And I think they need to bring people like my son back into things, right? He loved a lot of Ahsoka because it was Clone Wars related, but they lost him on Andor, and so they need a kids focused story, and I hope the fan base can handle it.
It might not. We know how it goes.
We've seen that story before, right?
Just saying.
All right. Well, we got one story left, and when we're done with the news, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have Silver Ciprian, Star Wars Thrifting, hanging out with us, chatting about what better things than collectibles. So let's hit our next story, and this is the Acolyte trailer gives some new details. With less than a month remaining until the Acolyte debuts on Disney Plus, that seems crazy to me. Lucasfilm was making headlines on May the 4th with the release of a brand new trailer for the highly anticipated show. Alongside the trailer, they've unveiled a fresh poster and offered a glimpse behind the scenes. The new trailer provides a tantalizing preview of the series, while the final poster captures the essence of the show's dark and mysterious tone. We also saw a first look at the masked red saber wielding bad guy, reminiscent of the style of the sequel series Knights of Ren. The official synopsis reveals that the Acolyte centers around a Jedi Master portrayed by Lee Jung-jae, who faces off against a formidable adversary from his past, played by Amanda Stenberg. As the investigation unfolds, they venture down a sinister path where dark forces lurk. Lucasfilm has also confirmed character details, shedding light on the roles played by Amanda Stenberg, Lee Jung-jae, and others. The Leslie Headland-held series will premiere its first 2 episodes on June the 4th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. East on Disney+. Lloyd, what is that, as I called it, sort of a Knights of Ren anime style, silver smile, evil-looking bastard that we saw in the trailer? What are your thoughts?
Obviously, it's Marok 2.0. Okay.
It's tech.
It's tech. Yeah, he's finally part of Scar Squadron 110 years before the movie.
Right, yeah. This time travel and stuff.
Oh yeah. Definitely. He's not dead.
But how did that design strike you?
I could take it or leave it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Yeah, I'm not. I think it's too safe.
You think that's safe?
I do.
With the silver. Oh my goodness.
I do. And it's only because like we got the sequel trilogy with Ren with the same kind of helmet and the other Knights of Ren kind of with similar helmets. Like I thought it was too safe. Even if it is, a precursor to them. Cool. Yeah. But still I felt it was just too safe.
Really?
Like if you see some of like the helmets that like the Nile wear in the High Republic, I thought that would have been cool because they look like something straight out of like Destiny or the Matrix. They look really cool, and I thought that would have been a better choice. But I'm not in charge of the show, so I just
if they called you. No, well, I'm really hoping, and I posted something about it today, and I'm surprised I didn't get more shit about it than I did. But I hope they give us a better backstory for the Knights of Ren than we got in the Charles Soule comic. No offense, Charles. Yeah. You've been a big fan and friend of Ponathon, but I make it a habit to not necessarily say negative things about content, but that was hard for me to read. Not because the story was bad. I thought the story was interesting, but the dialogue choices from Charles to me were very like calling Luke Jedi man. Like it felt like peace, man. You're like a Jedi man. Like what are you doing? It felt like
it Jefferson Starship in comic form.
Yeah. It just didn't work for me, but yeah, I would love to see it connect to Knights of Ren. I still have like this fan hope and dream that one day we'll learn that Vader's armor is based on like a Knights of Ren kind of thing. Wouldn't that be cool if like there was this connectivity between the helmets and the garb and the way the armor looks and stuff like that? I think that'd be great.
So the moment you said that, I just heard like a million voices cry out in terror. Okay.
Suddenly silence.
The moment you said that, Twitter just went on fire. You're taking Daddy Vader and now you're throwing him into my High Republic. Oh, are you even a fan?
I know, but I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool if we can get those connections. I don't know, but I was, it's way too early to ask, who you think the Acolyte is and what we think that series is about.
That trailer. Oh my god.
The trailer was something else, wasn't it? Like,
gimme.
I was, I looked Disney Plus. My ongoing commentary has always been since Disney took over, to be honest with you, Rogue One, Solo, Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, even Mandalorian to a degree. I was always like, do we need these shows? And then as soon as we get a week and a half into it, I'm like, yep, I needed this. I didn't know I needed it. And so, and so for this, even though I'm not a High Republic guy by trade, I'm super excited about it. And I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah,
so
me too.
But speaking of super excited, we have a special guest who's ready to join us in just a minute. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll be joined by Silver Ciprian. So we'll be back with more ATG Live. Well, welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars. Thanks for hanging out with us. We see the chat is on fire tonight, probably because Cam Ray is in there throwing a bunch of stuff around, having some fun. Cam lit up the chat during Podathon and got things rolling, which was great. Thank you very much for that, Cam, and thank you to everybody who's hanging out with us. And hopefully, we have some new people here who are saying, wait a minute, Silver's going to do that show? I'm going to check that out. So we will now go to our intercepted transmission section.
Wrong.
Wrong?
You made it.
Oh, Force Connect. Damn it. You know, here's the thing.
You did it.
I did it. Yeah. I've been so I don't even know. I don't have a good enough. I got nothing.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we let's do Force Connect instead, because that makes a lot more sense.
It kind of does, yeah.
Silver, how are you?
Hi. Hello.
How are you? How's your evening going? You had to sit through that. I'm so sorry. That was a rough intro.
It was great. I loved it. It makes sense since I'm here.
Good. Well, Silver, this is the second time you've been forced to talk to me in the last 10 days, because we just recently had you on Podathon with Lucas Seastrom, Jordan Hembrow, and yourself talking about Phantom Menace. But I can't imagine there's many people who don't know who you are. But for those that might not know, tell us a little bit about you.
Yes. I go by Star Wars Thrifting on the internet, and it's pretty just it is exactly what it is. I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm a collector, but I like to go and find my collectibles at thrift stores, flea markets, antique marts, and garage sales. So
Awesome.
that's it. It's been quite a blast. I love being able to be on the internet and showing what I find over the weekend, and being able to connect with people has just been really fun.
I gotta know how you find this stuff all the time. Like, I mean, like for me, like it's a rarity. I might walk into a comic book shop that has something, but of course they know what it's worth, so they overprice it. Or like the rarity of a flea market here in Jersey is very, where I'm going to find something like that. How are you? Like, is there like a strategy? Like, tell us a little bit about, because you're right. Every week there's more stuff, and every single thing you post, I'm like, either A, I had that and wish I still did, B, I always wanted that, or C, where the hell did she find that?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm really I think it's the area I'm in. I'm in the Bay Area, about 40 minutes away from San Francisco, and I'm lucky. I live in San Jose, which is a pretty big city, and we have about 3 fantastic flea markets every weekend. And a lot of these flea markets are not just people who are selling old junk. These are a lot of like storage wars. These are a lot of vendors who go to bid on different storages, like just throughout Northern California, and they take them to these flea markets because that's where they're going to get just a volume of people every weekend. So that's kind of where I head out every Saturday. I'll wake up. It's hard for my friends to get me out on Friday night because I have to wake up. I have to wake up early. It's hard for me to wake up early for work, but for Star Wars collectibles, I'll be up out of the house at 5 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So that's kind of how that's kind of just what I enjoy doing. But I have these like garage sale apps that you can kind of map out what garage sales. So I will hit the flea market first, and then like on my way back, then I'll stop by a couple of garage sales within the area. And also like not just even like there's a couple of flea markets that like they're more like pop-ups. They're just like either like once every 2 months or once a month. So I kind of make sure I check those out. We have the De Anza flea market, which is at the community college in Cupertino. And that's always a big turnout. There's just so many people who are just big collectors, whether they're finding antiques, or like my husband loves collecting old baseball, old baseball bats.
Cool.
Just kind of like he likes collecting like a lot of the sports stuff. So you get like just like a big majority of like huge collectors out for that flea market. And that's always a big turnout, since it's a really popular one.
Do you find that the collecting world, like, so I referenced it when we were on together for Podathon.
Mhm.
Like I had like this giant box of unopened Phantom Menace figures that I figured,
Mhm.
okay, this is it. This is where all my money's gone. I'm going to be rich. Of course, I'm not. But do you find? do you-
Yeah, right?
like, yeah, I bought this little Watto I have up there at a comic book store and or a comic book show, and it was like the guy was like, I don't know, give me $10 for it. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But are you? It must be. It's straight because like even same thing with baseball cards. Like that for me was the big collectible that started me kind of in the collectible world.
Mhm.
Is it becoming harder to find good deals, or is it kind of, are people not really that focused on what they think it's worth? Or I guess it probably depends on where you're going as well.
Yeah, it depends where I'm going. Like I just mentioned the Deanza flea market. Those are just because it's more like focused on a lot of collectors do come and a lot of collectors are selling like a lot of their old collectibles.
Right.
So they kind of know sometimes you'll kind of get the eBay prices. Maybe if you kind of like, they'll give you a deal like the more you buy, they'll kick down the price. But this flea market that I go every Saturday, that's more of a hey, we just bought these storages. Now I just want to flip,
Okay.
so that's where you can kind of get the good deals. But that's a little bit more. You have to put the work in. You have to dig through boxes and spend time and like kind of be patient because they're just unloading tons of boxes and they're just, they don't know what they're what they're offloading on their truck. So they're just trying to make a profit of what they spent over the week after bidding on the storage.
That's wild. So I mean, you have to have like a storage unit yourself at this point, right? I mean, because every time you buy something, like the homeowner in me is like, where the hell is she putting
Yeah.
this stuff?
Yeah.
What
So
space?
yeah. So I'm in my office right now. So this is not where I keep most of my stuff. I should know the square feet of this garage. I have a garage in our house, and it is now housing all my collectibles. Um, my husband had to buy one of those sheds to put like our normal garage stuff because it was like, all right, it started off like a little corner, then it just kind of grew. So it's a pretty big spacious garage. It's detached from my house, and that's kind of like my little like Star Wars like spot. And that's kind of where I just house my stuff. The most recent big purchase was I got the episode 1 Pepsi machine with the Watto and Anakin.
I've
So
been dying to get my hands on one of those.
yeah, so I think when I was rolling that in and like our neighbors were watching me roll this in, they're like, oh man, this girl is something else. But yeah, it's a pretty big spacious garage. I always, I should be giving more information of like how, like the square feet and stuff like that, but it houses most of the collection there.
Is that episode 1 Pepsi machine, is it fully functional? Like, does it actually still work?
It's fully functional. It still works.
Boy, they don't
I
make
just
them like that anymore.
Yeah. It's really funny seeing like all the old soda logos on the machine. Is pretty funny.
Yeah. Wow.
So I might have a question for you. So I collect more of the modern day kind of things, right? And I do dabble in some retro stuff. I have a holy grail. Okay, I want to get my hands on an old school Star Wars battle pod. Okay, from
Nice.
like the early 2000s. Now, my question is, what is your holy grail? Like, if you could find something right now, like, what is your ultimate find?
Yeah, it's so funny because that question just changes now that I had that. Never in my life I think I would have that Pepsi machine in my garage, nor I do have the pod racing arcade cabinet in my garage also, and that's something that I'm just like, what, like these are things I just would never have thought to have ever owned. Right now, today, that the answer will change tomorrow. I assure you. Just because after, especially how we've been celebrating the Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace was my first movie theater experience, and that's why I'm a Star Wars fan. So I like my bigger pieces to kind of be just be focused on Phantom Menace. They have this Phantom Menace pinball machine that I would like to kind of have. I would like to own one day. and that's a grail. Also, there's one more thing. There is a Pepsi had like these like characters, like almost like statues. They had a Jar Jar Binks, at a Darth Maul. They had the creepy puppet Yoda one that I have, but they have this Watto, and he's kind of like hanging on this like perched on this pole where he kind of looks like he's floating, like completely
I
like
remember
life
that one.
size. Yeah, life
Yeah.
size, looks great. I think he would just look perfect just in the middle of my garage, since just because the vibe of the collection is a Watto's junk shop essentially. So I just feel like I should have my personal Watto there, and I can like dress him up for the for the holidays. I'll put a Santa hat on him. I just feel like he would just be just.
But in your junk shop, can we find a J-type Nubian hyperdrive?
Yes, Nubian,
Okay.
yes, definitely
Nubian,
can.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Excellent.
wanted to do the photo votes, but I chickened out the last minute for sure. I almost went there.
Nobody else has one. I can promise you that. It was so. We were talking before we got going about how just going to see that movie brought back so many memories. And yeah, the Watto, I've seen that on occasion in like a Facebook marketplace, and I've been I almost purchased. Actually, I put it up on Twitter because I want everybody's opinion. The R2 cooler refrigerator. I didn't buy it though. I didn't buy it because I looked closely at it, and it was a little bit too cracked. So do you do a lot of sort of hunting through Facebook Marketplace and things like that, or do you do most of your stuff live and in person?
I'm constantly on Facebook Market. Like I will, it's just natural. If I'm on my phone, it's because I'm scrolling Facebook Market or OfferUp, just by force of habit. Even when I'm traveling and on vacation, I'll be like, "What is around here?" So my husband and I, we went to Seattle. We took the drive up there. We took the dog, so we wanted to drive. We took the drive to Seattle, and as we're driving to Seattle. I'm like, what's around the area? I was like, okay, before we do the things we actually came to do, let's stop by and pick up this 4-foot dancing Jar Jar thing.
No.
Yes. So yeah, I can't be stopped, but it's fun. It's I'm on vacation. I like to do the things that I enjoy it, but it's also like, oh,
It's your one
let's see.
souvenir.
Yeah, let's see exactly. Let's see what's out there.
Right. Some people buy magnets. You buy Jar Jar Binks statues. It happens.
Yeah,
Everybody's
it
got their thing.
happens. Yeah.
Everyone's got their hobby, and I guess that's yours.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Can't take me anywhere.
Do you find that you naturally focus on prequel era stuff because of where your Star Wars history is, or is there more stuff out there?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's kind of in the beginning. That's kind of what I really focused on. It was more like the nostalgia of it all.
Right.
I think that what really just kind of got me into it was just more like just how I felt. Like, oh wow, like I haven't seen this in a while. Um, or wow, I was 10 when these movies came out, and my mom always let me just buy one toy at the store. Now I'm an adult and I can buy whatever I want.
You have
So
adult money,
yeah,
and
I
no
have
one can
adult
tell you
money.
what you can do with it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna buy all this. So in the beginning, that's kind of how it went. Just because I do live, I also kind of focus on. I like action figures. I'll mainly just like will pick out like my like a favorite character that I'm into at the moment. I'll be like, okay, cool, I'll pick that up. I love going through like magazines, like the early like 90s, early 2000s Star Wars Insider magazines. I'm kind of just like trying to complete that set. I find those a lot at the flea
You should get the
market.
Star Wars Galaxy magazines because this guy Pete Fletcher wrote in
There you
5 or
go.
6 of them. So you should.
I own a couple of them too.
Okay, well there you go. That's on my list now. Yeah, so it varies. I like kind of going for also like lately like bootlegs are kind of my thing right now. So I like anything that's like like bootlegs. I or just kind of things that are just like I feel like yeah, like if I have to really search on eBay for something, then I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
But if I feel like I can easily buy, I'll I'll pass on it. That wasn't the case in my first year of collecting. I was almost just grabbing anything that said Star Wars, and that was becoming a problem. I'm like, okay, I should just be a little bit more pickier with some of the stuff that I find.
That's why I stopped with Funko Pops, because anything that said
Yeah,
Star Wars I had to buy, and I was like, I just can't. It's
I
like
can't.
it's
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Do you? So we've got friends who are just like the collect and resell type people,
Mm-hmm.
and people who will only buy certain like graded stuff. It looks to me like, from what I see on your posting, you're more about, your philosophy seems to be a little bit more about, I just want this and I don't care if it's pristine or not. Am I right on that?
Yeah, well, because a lot of the stuff is secondhand. And you know, I don't really think of like, okay, like how can I, resell? I've had like some pop-up sales before because I really wanted to raise money to buy like a bigger item for the collection. So that was a quick way to do it. And I was like, yeah, I have Star Wars fans are following me. I'm sure they'll be interested in this stuff. But yeah, yeah, it's more like whatever I guess just catches my eye or what I feel like, I'm into. I'll go after. Um yeah, I don't really I mean, if it's like totally like beat up, I won't pick it up.
Right.
I have this thing with like the vehicles, and like, I'll, if it's like, for example, I got like a Y-wing and it was like cracked on the bottom. I like to turn that into like a planter. So like I'll plant like plants or succulents and I'll just leave it in my yard. So I kind of have like a shipyard of broken down ships, and a Millennium Falcon that has like some plants in there to kind of just like kind of make like my yard. Now it's bleeding into my yard. So kind of, my husband's probably going to be like, okay, he's probably going to give me some sort of intervention soon. So
all you need
People
is
are
a
like,
new walk
yeah.
treehouse now.
Yeah. Oh my
Throw it
gosh.
out in your yard.
Yeah, I would
Man.
love a new treehouse. Yeah, so it depends. But if the condition is like really just like beat up, I'll be like, I think I can do without it.
Yeah. Lloyd, did you have another question? I thought I'd cut you off. I didn't mean to.
Well, so I know that you kind of work hand in hand with Rancho Obi-Wan as well. And I've always just been kind of wondering, how is it that he's been able to amass such a collection of that size? How did he like kind of get his start, and where do you come into that kind of picture? Like, how did you get involved with Rancho Obi-Wan?
Well, with Rancho Obi-Wan, I've been a huge fan, and Steve Sansweet is someone who I mean, just fell in love with just by reading these Star Wars Insider magazines and everything that he's done. And I love his QVC specials on YouTube. Those are things I love to watch. They're so great. And I'm like, man, Steve's like the best guy. I wish I could meet him in real life. And I actually, he's an author of like 17 books, and they're all about collectibles. So I absolutely been a fan for a very long time. And for my birthday, I had a visit for Rancho Obi-Wan, but the tickets were sold out, so I couldn't get in. And I think I wasn't aware that they wwere following me on social media, so I kind of was probably like, I didn't get in on my birthday, boo, maybe next time, or I'll go next week. And then just being a brat on the internet. And they were kind enough to reach out and said, oh, you can, we can make room for the tour. So I showed up, and Steve was out there, and he kind of made a joke about like my thrift shop, and I just thought, oh wow, this is pretty intimidating and nerve-wracking. I'm talking to Steve Sansweet. So and I met Ann Newman, who is just who's the president at Rancho, and just the sweetest people who work there. So they had a volunteer work day, and I like DM'd them like, oh, like how does one get this type of power? How can I become a volunteer? And they were just so accommodating and just welcomed me in right away. So I've been a volunteer for more than a year already. So when I'm not thrifting on Saturdays, I'm spending the day at Rancho Obi-Wan. So I'll shadow a tour with a docent, or we'll do like work days where we're just like reorganizing the collection and moving things around, to kind of make the tour a little bit more efficient. And I would rather organize and clean up Rancho Obi-Wan than my own collection. So, which is really funny. But I leave inspired every time. It's just, not only is that place just like a great museum, it just houses so many like just collectibles. It's like preserving history. That's kind of what they're all about. And not just that, like Steve, like he has a passion for a lot of fan-made stuff. So a lot of fan-made stuff that's just like really fun stuff to see. So it's just a labor of love, and obviously his love and for Star Wars and collecting, but also just like the whole fan, the love of Star Wars fans. So it's just really fun to see. I mean, every time I leave that place, I feel like I just walked out of Star Wars Celebration. I just feel like this energy, and I think we all need that sometimes to kind of be like reminded of like, okay, this is good stuff right here. This is, but yeah. So it's been a great year for me.
Now, That's in all amazing. Your time thrifting, have you come across a rocket firing Boba Fett figure?
I have not. I have not. And I think maybe I'll retire and stop if I ever do.
Just sell that and there's your retirement.
That's it. No, I have not. I've been close enough just by being at Rancho.
Yeah, I know he's got a couple of them, right?
Just being able to see it is great for me. Honestly, I think I'd be too nervous to even own one. I'd probably just be like, I'm not responsible for this. I was like, this is why we did not sell it for people like her. So yeah, that's why you discontinue it. She's not responsible with it. Yeah, I would.
Well, next time you see Steve, please tell him I said hello. He's the reason I ended up writing for Star Wars Galaxy magazine. I'll tell you a little funny Steve Sansweet story, because he is probably one of the best people in all Star Wars ever. Truly. So back in the 90s, before the special editions, I had what I believe was the first Star Wars fan website. It was called Echo Base, and it was like a GeoCity site or something like that. And because there weren't a lot of Star Wars sites, people would come and they would comment. And at that time, Steve was going around talking with the special editions at Star Trek conventions, because he was the Lucasfilm fan ambassador. So he was doing a slideshow, not a PowerPoint, guys, like the big Tumblr and he was doing a slideshow. So people contacted me and said, hey, where's Steve Sansweet going to be doing? And I didn't know, because I wasn't official Star Wars, of course. So I called Lucasfilm because I just wanted his schedule. That was it. And so I called Lucasfilm, and I got the receptionist or whatever, and I said, yeah, I'd like to get a copy of Steve's schedule for where his appearances are going to be for the Star Wars Special Edition presentation. They said, okay, hang on a second. So I'm sitting there on hold, and then phone picks up and it says, hello, Steve Sansweet. And I was like, holy shit, I'm talking. And like you, I had all his books literally right in front of me, and I was like, and then we just had a great conversation. I ended up helping him out with Star Wars Galaxy. But Steve is still absolutely one of my favorite people, and Rancho is so great. And maybe give us a little plug for how you can support Rancho Obi-Wan.
Yeah, you can just go on their website, ranchoobiwan.org, and you can make a donation or become a member. And if you become a member, you get a really cool patch. And also you can, you get discounts on visits and things like that. Or even just like a one-time donation. Honestly, it's a great place. They're doing something special. I've seen so many tours, and I've seen people who aren't even Star Wars fans. It's because like, oh, my husband dragged me, so I'm standing here, and they leave just like completely just like amazed. So that place needs to just stay forever and ever. But Steve Sansweet, and honestly, he puts a sweet in Sansweet, just a total sweetheart, who loves talking with fans and is so generous with his time. I mean, just many people who have all these questions about the collection, he has great stories and just so much information, and just the best. I'm just so like fortunate to even like just be there, and I always have all my questions when I see him, because I gotta soak up every moment.
And if the Lucasfilm vault ever burns down, we know he has a backup, essentially.
I don't doubt it.
So, just saying.
Don't
Make a
doubt it.
donation. You're in the preservation business.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
Well, Silver, thank you so much for giving us some of your time tonight. We really appreciate it. Love talking to you. We're all like back in that Phantom Menace mindset, and this kind of conversation brings us all back to when we were finding those things, and we'll continue to follow you. Tell us once again where we can find you on social media so we can keep up with your exploits.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm on Instagram. I'm usually more active on there, but on Twitter or whatever we're calling it these days at Star Wars Thrifting. Yeah. So thanks for inviting me.
Oh, fantastic. And we hope to have you on again soon. Thanks for joining us. And thank you, everybody who's hanging out with us. Thank you for joining us. And we'll be back with more ATG Live.
Where are those transmissions you sent?
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
A communications disruption can mean only one thing. Okay, I'll hold.
Well, welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars. I do have to say, normally we do intercept transmissions here, and we will do it here. But we don't. If you left a voicemail, Podathon took over, so I apologize. I did not get any questions, and I don't know how.
For good reason.
Well, yeah, we raised. At this point, we're a little over $5,200 for Make a Wish, which is fantastic. And thank you to everybody who joined us and who donated. If you want to donate, you still can at bit.ly/Podathon24, or even easier. And if you want to watch some of the videos, head on over to thepodathon.com. You can check all that stuff out. But Lloyd, I want to bounce an idea off you.
Oh no.
This is my intercepted transmission right here. So here's the idea that I had, and I posted on Twitter, so some may have seen it. I'm proposing that every Wednesday night during a Star Wars series that's running, maybe just live action, but probably anything, every Wednesday night, local theaters charge $5, invite people to come watch it on the big screen. When I saw the scene from the Acolyte on the big screen, when we saw that one episode of Ahsoka, which was back in the theaters, when we saw Kenobi live at Star Wars Celebration on the big screen with people, it changed the experience dramatically. I also feel like it's a great opportunity to build community, right? If you go to the theater every Wednesday night, you're going to meet Star Wars fans you didn't know were in your neighborhood, were in your town, were nearby. And also, it's going to make money from concessions. Charge me $5. I'll pay it because I'm watching on Disney Plus anyway. But I'd rather go and watch it with 30 to 50 to 100 people who also want to see it. We're all buying popcorn. There's going to be money made for the theater. And $5 feels like a reasonable price. And look, if I can't make it this Wednesday, I miss it, but I still get to watch it at home, and I'll come back the next week and watch it with my friends. What do you think of that idea?
I would probably do that. Cheyenne would hate me. Okay, but too bad, so sad. Okay, if it means that I can watch Carrie Ann Moss on the big screen again with a lightsaber, I'm in.
Right, for sure.
I will throw money at that screen so fast.
I can't even think of a reason why they wouldn't do it, because it's all digital projection now. So they upload the file, they send it over, it sits in the theater for a day, just one night, just do it once a week. I mean, Wednesday night for a movie theater is probably not that hopping anyway. Make it special events. They will make money, and Lucasfilm doesn't need to make a ton of money from that $5. They're getting it on Disney Plus, but it's building community and it's building commitment to the show. So, yeah. Are you guys answering questions? Says Lord Bloodsith. Yeah, sure. Throw a question in there. Yeah.
Kind of curious what y'all got.
Yeah, let's see what we got there.
But yeah, no, I would pay. I would pay about $5 a night to do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I would.
I mean,
Absolutely. And then like obviously offer a discount on like concessions and stuff though, because I mean you're not paying for a full price movie. It's not like it's kind of that event, but
yeah. Well, I think though that would
you
be the
know.
draw for the theaters, right? They, so, oh
So
geez,
what are you
okay.
guys thinking about the rumor about George Lucas coming back?
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back, guy. First of all, that's Star Wars theory bullshit. Just trying to get some clickbait. Oh man, this guy's got me going. That's clickbait. That's
About to
bullshit.
say simmer.
Simmer down now.
Simmer.
He's not coming back. He's got first of all, he's perfectly happy occasionally dropping on set. What else is there for him to do?
Yeah.
And it's not his series anymore. And he probably recognizes that. If you hear what he said about Kenobi, based on what Pablo Hidalgo said on Podathon, he likes it. He's happy with where it is. Why get involved? Plus, how old is he? How old is George Lucas?
I think he's like 75 or something.
75. I'm gonna look it up now.
I'm doing that right now.
Okay,
if you want to, like, yeah.
But
Well,
there's no reason for him to do it. It's not. He's not
79.
coming. 79.
Yeah.
He's not coming back.
Like I think honestly, when he sold it, it was more of because of the type of fans that we were getting online at that point.
Yeah.
Why would he continue to make Star Wars if people were going to hate it no matter what he did?
What untitled Star Wars show? I don't know what that is. I think again, look, I think we all respect and love George, obviously. Without George's vision, without his creativity, I mean, honestly,
we wouldn't be here. Right.
Yeah, we've said it before. Star Wars should not have worked. It should have been a flash in the pan summer film, but his vision for the story, his vision for everything he did is unmatched, untouchable. And I couldn't be happier, but I don't see him coming back. So,
I don't think he wants to. I think he's happy where he is.
Yeah.
He'll do some consulting work here and there, but he ain't gonna have a direct hand in writing or producing or anything. I think he's good. He's happy.
The remarkable thing is one of the reasons he got out is because of the stuff that
the vitriol and hate he was getting for stupid things.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why he sold it. Yeah.
Probably the bricks and screws made him do it most, but
bricks and screws. Cam is asking if plaid is in this summer. Cam, I don't think it is. I don't know though. We'll have to get back to you. We'll work on that one for next week.
I might have canvas on my list of fashions for the summer.
Canvas?
No.
Okay.
I wear polyester for work in the prison. I can't imagine wearing something that actually breathes right now.
Well,
awful.
Do we have any other questions in here?
Last call.
We do see. TWK is asking Baruby, yay or nay. Are you talking about for your Leafs? I could see it happening. I know this is not ESPN here, but with the coach vacancy, yeah, bring him up there. We want to keep Torts down in Philly, so I think we're good there. Lloyd, did anything catch your eye in the comments? I know it was kind of tough to stick around for it all.
A lot of agreeing with screening the show,
screening the screen, showing the show.
Yeah. Let's see. Cam Ray coming in clutch. She kept the chat alive. Damn. TW Tippett is and always has been an absolute legend, except for Starship Troopers 2, Starship Troopers 2, and don't watch it. What else? Yeah, Cam Ray, one of my favorites growing up was the giant R2D2 toy bin that was at my grandparents' house. I would ask if you can find me one, but I already have to smuggle new Star Wars items into the house. I understand that.
Yeah.
And then that's
all right. That's good. Hey, it was a fun show. We will not be here next week. Lloyd, this is the first you're hearing about it. Yeah, we're gonna take next week off. I'll
do the show solo.
Yeah, if you tune in and you just see Lloyd here,
I'll read you my Hames manual on the Death Star somewhere.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Do a PowerPoint presentation with that?
Oh no, I'm doing it live.
I'm doing a lot. Okay, we're doing it live. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. If you're new and you've never been here before, but you're watching us on YouTube, please click that like and subscribe button. That helps us out tremendously. Share this with all your friends. What do they say? pound the like button. What is it they say? I don't know. Kids today.
Smash the like button.
Smash the like button. Yeah.
Shit,
And if you're on Twitter, follow us, share this, tell friends and family. Lloyd, may the force be with you.
Always. I did it right.
Yay!
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.